The maintenance tunnels of Veridac Station smelled like burnt metal and air that had been used before. Tyler Grant got out from under a broken coolant pipe, his uniform covered in grease and sweat. At 19 and halfway across the galaxy from Earth, he quickly learned that being human on this station meant being the lowest of the low. "Hey, Dirtborn." A voice that clicked echoed down the hall. Tyler didn't have to look up to know that Vri was his boss. The bug-like alien loved to remind Tyler of where humans fit into the galactic hierarchy. "You missed a spot. Again. How did your kind even get into space with such small brains?" The other workers laughed. They always did. Tyler had stopped answering months ago. What was the point? The Galactic Council's newest species was humans, and every other race seemed to want to remind them that they didn't belong. Yeah, Tyler said as he picked up his tools. "I'll take care of it. Make sure you do. And fast. In an hour, I have a meeting with real people." Tyler took a deep breath after he heard Vria's footsteps fade away. He only had 6 more months on this contract before he could go home. 6 more months of being treated like something stuck to someone's shoe. He could deal with that. As the station's fake evening cycle started, his shift finally came to an end. The lights turned down to a soft orange like the sun setting. Tyler took the long way back to his room by going through the market area. At this time of day, it was full of aliens from 100 different worlds buying, selling, and trading all kinds of things. He saw her then. She was huddled in a small space between 2 shops, almost hidden in the shadows. Etherian skin, which was silver, marked her as such, even though Tyler had never seen one in person before. The Etherians were rare, hard to understand, and thought to be very advanced. But this woman didn't look like the proud people in the history files at all. She was dirty. Her clothes were nothing more than rags hanging off of her thin body. Those famous violet eyes were dull and sunken from hunger. Her hair was dirty and matted. And no one was paying attention to her. No worse than ignoring. Tyler saw a well-dressed alien in an expensive suit step out of the way on purpose to spit near her feet. The woman didn't even blink. She just sat there and stared at nothing. "Don't, Tyler." Nathan, his co-worker, stood next to him and warned him. Nathan was one of the few other people on the station. He was older and had been working there for 3 years. "I know what you're thinking. Don't do it." Tyler said softly, "Someone should help her. We don't have to deal with that. I understand. We're people. It's in our nature to care about these things. But out here? That will only get you into trouble. Also, you don't know if she's sick or something." Tyler thought Nathan was probably right. It would be smart to leave. Stay focused, finish your contract, and go home. But his feet wouldn't move. More aliens went by. A few people laughed and pointed. Some people made sounds of disgust. A bunch of young aliens, probably kids, threw something at her. The woman didn't say anything. Tyler thought about his sister who was still on Earth. What if she was sitting in an alley somewhere and people just walked by her? "I can't just leave her," he said. "Tyler, come on." But Tyler was already on his way to the woman. He heard Nathan groan and run away behind him. He's a smart guy. Getting as far away from the situation as possible. The smell hit Tyler as he got closer. She hadn't taken a bath in weeks, maybe even longer. She was breathing shallowly and with a rasp. He could see sores on her arms and face when he got close. He knelt down slowly so he wouldn't scare her. "Hey, can you hear me?" The purple eyes slowly turned to look at him. There was a lot of confusion there, like she couldn't believe someone was really talking to her. "Tyler is my name. I want to help you. When was the last time you ate?" She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her lips were bleeding and cracked. Okay. Wait a second." Tyler took off his jacket and put it over her shoulders. He only had one good one, but she needed it more. Then he reached into his backpack and got out his lunch. He had been saving it for later, but who cares? "Here. It's not a lot, but it's something." As she took the food packet, the woman's hands shook. Her dirty cheeks started to tear up. "Don't, you dumbass." Vria's voice cut through the air like a knife. Tyler looked up and saw his boss standing there with a small group of people around them. "What are you up to?" "Helping someone," Tyler said simply. "That thing is probably sick. It could have a lot of different infections." Vria's mandibles clicked quickly, which is a sign of extreme anger. This is exactly why people shouldn't be in civilized space. You're too dumb to know how to stay alive. People were coming in. Tyler saw people holding up their phones and recording everything. Good. In a matter of minutes, this would have spread all over the station network. Tyler said, "She needs help," keeping his voice calm even though his heart was racing. "That's all I need to know." "A person?" Another alien laughed. "It's clearly crazy or illegal. If not, why would it be in such bad shape?" Good people don't end up like that. Tyler felt anger rising in his chest, but he pushed it down. Getting angry wouldn't help. Instead, he carefully helped the woman get up. She felt like she was made of paper and weighed almost nothing. He asked the crowd, "Where is the closest medical clinic?" No sound. Then someone pointed down the hall while still filming. Vri said loudly, "Your career on this station is over, human. I'll make sure of it." In a professional setting, this kind of careless emotional behavior is not acceptable. Tyler shot back, "Then I guess I'll find work somewhere else." He began to walk, holding the woman's weight. The crowd moved aside but stayed close, still recording and laughing. It seemed like it took hours to walk to the clinic. The woman could hardly move her feet. Tyler kept talking to her quietly, even though he wasn't sure she could hear him. "Almost there. You're doing a great job. Just a little more." When they finally got to the clinic, the receptionist, who looked like a lizard, looked up with disgust. "Not at all. We don't treat that." Tyler said, "She needs medical help. Our facility has rules. Bring it to the charity ward on the 12th floor. That's 4 levels down. She can hardly walk." The receptionist turned back to her computer and told them to leave. Tyler felt like he couldn't do anything. What was he supposed to do? After that, the woman squeezed his arm. Her violet eyes suddenly became clear and focused in a way they hadn't been before when he looked down. She opened her mouth and spoke. Her voice was barely a whisper, but it was full of strange confidence. "You have shown me what I needed to see. Being nice when you shouldn't be. Thanks, Tyler Grant from Earth. I won't forget this." He couldn't ask what she meant before her eyes rolled back and she fell. Tyler barely caught her. "Fine. Fine," the receptionist said angrily. "Bring it in before you make a scene. But this is going in my report." Tyler took the woman inside and put her on a table for an exam. A doctor came in looking annoyed but professional. A security guard pulled Tyler aside as they were starting their work. "You have to go." "But, now." Tyler looked at the woman one last time. Her silver hair was spread out on the white pillow and she was out cold. For a moment, in the clinic's bright lights, she looked different in some way. Royal. Very important. The guard then pushed him toward the door. Tyler stepped out into the hallway and saw that his comm device was going crazy with notifications. The video had gone all over the station. There were a lot of comments and each one was worse than the last. "Stupid person. This is why they don't fit in here. People are too emotional for civilized society." Nathan found him an hour later in the common area outside his room. "You're sick, man? And not in a good way." Tyler said softly, "I know. Was it worth it?" Tyler thought about the woman's violet eyes and how she had looked at him in that last moment of clarity. Back there, something important had happened. He didn't know what it was, but he could feel it. "Yes," he finally said. Yes, it was. He had no idea how right he was, or how much trouble was on the way. The next morning, Tyler woke up to see his face on every news screen at the station. The video had gone viral and then some. It had turned into a big deal in the galaxy. He groaned and put his pillow over his head, but his phone kept buzzing. Messages from Earth. Messages from people you don't know. They weren't very friendly. One headline read, "Tyler Grant, the human who shows his species doesn't have basic survival instincts." Another headline read, "Emotional weakness on display. Why humans aren't ready for galactic society." Around noon, Nathan knocked on his door. "You have to see this. The Council News Channel is talking about you." Tyler didn't want to, but he went with him to the common area, where a lot of people had gathered around the main screen. There was a curved desk with a group of well-dressed aliens sitting around it, and they were talking about him. "This event is a perfect example of the human problem," said a reptilian ambassador, his forked tongue flicking between words. "They let their feelings rule them instead of their minds. Being kind to people who are clearly dangerous shows a lack of judgment that is scary in a council species." Another panelist, a jellyfish-like creature that floated, pulsed in agreement. "Think about what it would be like if people were really in charge. They would go bankrupt trying to save every lost cause they came across. It just can't last." "I don't agree." Tyler knew Ambassador Patricia Morrison, who was one of the most important diplomats on Earth. She was the only person on the panel and she looked tired. What Tyler Grant did was just plain decent. If that's a bad thing, then I'm glad that people are weak. We've lived and thrived on Earth because we care for each other. The reptilian ambassador said with barely hidden anger, "Earth is one planet. The galaxy works on different rules. Maybe harsh, but necessary." Tyler turned away, his stomach churning. Nathan put a hand on his shoulder. "Hey, at least Morrison stood up for you." "Yes, and she got talked over for her trouble." An hour later, when Tyler came in for his shift, the real effects began. Vree was waiting for him with 3 security guards and a smug look on his face. "Tyler Grant, you're being moved to a new job right away." "Where are they going?" "Reclamation of waste. 19 levels. Close to the core of the reactor." Tyler felt a chill run through his body. The most dangerous part of the whole station was level 19. The radiation shielding wasn't very good, so workers switched out every few months to avoid being exposed for a long time. They sent people there who they didn't want to deal with anymore. "Are you kidding?" "Oh, I'm very serious. Your careless actions show that you don't know what you're doing. It's clear that you need more direct supervision. Go to your new job right away." Tyler had learned to recognize Vria's mandibles clicking as laughter. "Maybe we'll think about it again if you make it through the week." The other workers didn't say anything as security led Tyler to the elevators. Some looked like they cared. Most of them seemed happy it wasn't them. Level 19 was as bad as he'd heard it would be. Tyler could feel the heat coming from the reactor core nearby, even though he was wearing a protective suit. The air tasted like metal. All of his new co-workers were different species, and they all looked tired and angry. "New meat," one of them said quietly. "How long do you think he'll last?" "People are soft. I give him 3 days." Tyler put his head down and started working. The job was to keep the waste processing systems running that dealt with everything the station made. It was hot, risky, and gross. Great. Tyler went to the medical clinic after his shift, tired and in pain. He had to find out what happened to the woman. But when he got there, the receptionist from the day before looked at him like he had just come out of a sewer. "You again. What do you want?" "The woman from Etheria that I brought in yesterday. How is she?" The receptionist looked at her screen with clear reluctance. "Dead. The body was thrown away according to standard procedure." Tyler's stomach hurt like he'd been punched. "What? When? Does it matter? When you brought her in she was barely alive." "Not anymore. That's all there is to it." "Can I look at the records? The report from the doctor?" "That information is secret. Get out of here now or I'll call security." Tyler walked away in a trance. Dead. Just like that. He had tried to help, but she had died anyway. Everyone might have been right. He might have just been a dumb, emotional person who didn't know how the galaxy really worked. Nathan caught up with him halfway back to his quarters and looked worried. "Tyler, I have something to tell you." "Not here though. Come on." They ducked into a maintenance corridor that was empty except for the sound of pipes and wires. Nathan made sure they were the only ones there. Nathan said softly, "I have a friend who works in medical records. I asked her to get the file on that Etherian woman because she owes me a favor. And there is no file. There is no death certificate. No record of disposal. Nothing. She didn't exist." Tyler made a face. "That doesn't make sense. Everything is kept on file by stations." "That's not even the strange part. My friend said that the security footage from the woman's room was broken. Everything. Just noise. And when she tried to find out more, she was denied access." "Forget about it," her boss told her when she went into his office. Tyler felt a chill run down his spine. "What are you talking about?" "I'm saying that something strange is happening. Someone is hiding the fact that the woman is missing." Nathan looked around nervously. "And there's more. Do you see the ships at the top levels?" "I can't get past level 19. I haven't seen anything." "Warships from Etheria. 5 of them came last night. There were more this morning." "That's strange, isn't it? Etherians never come to this area. It's too far away from their space." Tyler's thoughts were racing. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe. But why did the Galactic Council hold an emergency meeting behind closed doors this morning? And why are high-ranking officials suddenly acting scared? Alarms went off all over the hallway before Tyler could answer. There were flashing red lights. An automated voice said, "Security alert. All staff members should go back to their assigned areas. Levels 10 to 30 are now off limits." "What the hell?" Nathan looked at his phone. "They're shutting down half of the station." Tyler and Nathan ran to the elevators, but there were security checkpoints at every intersection. Officers were checking IDs and sending people away. "This is nuts," Nathan said under his breath. "This has never happened before." Tyler's phone buzzed. He looked down at a message he didn't know. "Tyler Grant, you need to come right away. Go to level A of diplomacy. The guards have been told that you are here." He asked, "Who sent this?" But the message didn't say who sent it. Level of diplomacy? Nathan's eyes got big. "Tyler, that's where the council's ambassadors work. People who aren't famous don't go up there. Should I just ignore it?" "Can you?" That message came through the channels of the station's authority. If you don't pay attention, they'll come get you. Tyler took a big breath. Okay. I guess I'll find out what's going on. Be careful, dude. You're right in the middle of something big that's happening. The ride up to the diplomatic level seemed to take a long time. Tyler's mind kept going around and around with bad ideas. 2 armored people were waiting when the doors finally opened. Not the station's security. These were not the same. Their armor looked like it was made of liquid silver and was always moving and changing. Their helmets completely covered their faces. Tyler had seen enough historical records to know what they were. The Royal Guard of Etheria. One of them said, "Tyler Grant of Earth," in a voice that sounded like it came from all over. "You will come with us." What is this about? Everything will be explained. Come. He didn't have a choice. The guards stood on either side of him and led him down halls Tyler had never seen before. Things were different up here. More clean. Cost more. This was where the people with real power worked. They went by windows that showed the upper docking bays of the station. Tyler saw at least 10 Etherian warships now, and their sleek shapes made everything else look small. More were coming, appearing in flashes of blue light from hyperspace. What's going on? Tyler asked. Why do there have to be so many Etherian ships? The guards didn't say anything. They stopped in front of a huge door with symbols on it that Tyler didn't know. One guard touched a panel and the door opened with a soft sound. Come in. She is waiting. Tyler's heart raced in his chest. Who's waiting? You will see. He walked through the door into a room that was so big that it could have fit his whole apartment. The ceiling went up 3 stories and was covered in what looked like real stars. Holographic screens showed star maps and streams of data. And in the middle of it all, surrounded by the most powerful beings in the galaxy, stood a person in flowing silver robes. She turned to look at him and Tyler's breath caught in his throat. Eyes that are violet. Skin that is silver. The woman begging in the market. But she wasn't a beggar anymore. She stood tall and proud, with a crown that looked like it was made of starlight that had been caught. All of the aliens in the room were bowing. All of them. Tyler Grant, she said, her voice strong and clear, not like the broken whisper from before. Thanks for coming. We have a lot to talk about. Tyler's legs were weak. Who are you? He saw both kindness and terrible power in her smile. I am Queen Lysara VII, the highest ruler of the Etherian Dominion. And you, Tyler Grant, have changed everything. Tyler was stuck. Couldn't come up with anything. The beggar woman, the sick person he had helped in the market, was now standing in front of him like a queen. Not just any queen. The Queen of the Etherian Dominion is one of the 3 most powerful civilizations in the whole galaxy. This must be a mistake, Tyler said, stammering. Queen Lysara moved forward, and her silver robes flowed like water. She looked completely different up close than she did 2 days ago. Her skin looked healthy and glowing. Her purple eyes sparkled with intelligence and something else. Maybe fun. Tyler Grant, no mistake. I get why you're confused. She waved at the crowd that had gathered. Please let me introduce you. You are in front of the most important members of the Galactic Council. 47 worlds have ambassadors. You brought them all here. For the first time, Tyler really looked around. He knew the faces from news reports. The reptilian ambassador who said that humans were weak and emotional. The jellyfish that floated and said yes. The insect-like official from the Vexthurian collective who looked like he wanted to be anywhere but here. And dozens more, all looking at Tyler with faces that ranged from shock to barely hidden fear. Tyler said, I don't get it. You were going to die. The clinic told me you were dead. The clinic told you what they were told to tell you. After getting the right medical care, I really did get better pretty quickly. Etherian bodies are very strong. The Queen's face softened. I'm sorry for lying. It had to be done. Necessary for what? Queen Lysara spoke to the whole room, and her voice could be heard in every corner. I've been doing a test for the last 12 years. I walk among the other species in this galaxy every few years, but I wear a disguise. Sometimes as a traitor. Sometimes as a traveler. And sometimes as the lowest of the low, to see how civilized people treat those who have nothing. A murmur went through the group of aliens. A few people moved around uncomfortably. The Queen went on, during this time I have been to 37 stations and colonies. I've been ignored, insulted, attacked and worse. I have seen cruelty that would shock even the most jaded person. But I have seen kindness very rarely. And every time I ask myself the same thing, does this galaxy still have a moral center? Or have we lost our souls because we've become so obsessed with power and money? Tyler's head was spinning. Did you test people? The Queen corrected, testing civilizations. Seeing if the species that say they are advanced and enlightened really are. She walked over to a control panel and turned on a holographic screen. Pictures appeared in the air, showing the market where Tyler had found her. He saw himself on the screen and stopped to help while people walked by. He saw himself being made fun of and filmed. Queen Lysara's voice got harder as she said, "I stayed in that alcove for 47 days. During that time, exactly 7,342 beings came within 10 feet of me. Most people didn't pay attention to me. 1,218 people hurt me in some way. Spitting, kicking, tossing trash. And those are just the ones I saw." The hologram moved, and Vri and other station officials appeared. Some, like your boss, went even further. They paid criminals in the area to attack me to see if anyone would step in. No one did. Up until Tyler Grant showed up. Tyler was sick. Did they pay people to hurt you? Yes, that's right. I have all the proof I need, thanks to tiny cameras hidden in my clothes. The Vexthurian delegate in this room personally approved the payment of 700 credits for attacks on a defenseless person. Everyone looked at the insect-like ambassador, who had become very still. His mandibles clicked quickly, which is a sign of great distress. The ambassador said, "That's not possible. We would never. Do you want me to play the recordings?" The voice of Queen Lysara was cold. "I have 47 hours of video. If you want, we can watch all of it." A hammer hit the silence. Tyler spoke. "Why me? Why did you wait for me in particular?" "I didn't wait for you on purpose. I waited for someone. Anyone at all to show basic kindness." The Queen looked at him with a look of sadness. "Do you know what that means, Tyler Grant? In 47 days, at a station with more than 100,000 people from dozens of species, only one person stopped to help. Just you." "But that can't be right," Tyler said. "Others must have." "There weren't." The Queen's voice rang out in the room. "Oh, some people thought about it. I could see it in their eyes. They would slow down, look at me, and then run away. Fear of getting sick, fear of being made fun of, fear of getting involved. They were all afraid. Except for you." She turned back to the council members who were there and her voice got sharper, which made Tyler step back. "And what did you do when this young person showed basic decency? You made fun of him. You ruined his good name. You moved him down to the station's most dangerous area. You used him as an example of everything that was wrong with his kind." People in the crowd heard from Ambassador Patricia Morrison. "Your Majesty, I stood up for him. Earth's delegation has always." "You did, Ambassador Morrison. And people talked over you, ignored you, and told you that your species isn't fit to lead because of your emotions. I heard everything you said." The Queen looked around the room. "Actually, let me show you exactly what was said." The hologram changed again, this time to show clips from the news. Tyler listened to alien after alien explain why his actions showed that humans were too weak, emotional, and primitive for life in space. Hearing the words again hurt even more. "Your Majesty," the reptilian ambassador said carefully, "you must understand that being kind to people who could be dangerous is." "Is it dangerous?" Queen Lysara laughed, but it wasn't funny. "I'll tell you what's risky. A society that has forgotten how to care. A society where it's stupid to help someone who needs it. A galaxy where being mean is rewarded and being nice is punished. Ambassador, that's dangerous." She walked over to Tyler, who was still thinking about everything. Tyler Grant acted on instinct. He saw someone who needed help and did what he could to help. He didn't think about the risks. He didn't care about what people thought of him. He didn't think about what it would mean for politics. He only helped. And because of that, your kind tried to kill him. From the crowd, someone said, "We were worried about his safety." "You're a liar." The one word echoed through the room. "You were worried that his kindness would make you look bad. Because it did. It showed the rot at the center of your so-called civilization." Tyler's breath caught when the Queen turned on another display. It showed dozens of messages that had been sent while he was helping her. Messages between station officials about whether to step in, whether to stop him, and whether his actions set a bad example. "Look at this," the Queen said. "Your head of security said you should arrest Tyler for creating a public disturbance. Your medical board talked about whether or not to charge him for bringing an undesirable person to their facility. Your administration really thought about sending him back to Earth as a warning to other people. For helping someone, he was punished." Tyler's hands turned into fists. He knew people didn't like what he did, but he didn't know how much they didn't like it. "Your Majesty," Ambassador Morrison tried again, "what do you want from us?" "What do I want?" The Queen's voice got low and deadly. "I want you to know what you've turned into. For the first time in hundreds of years, I want you to be honest with yourselves. And then I want you to deal with the results of your decisions. What are the consequences? The voice of the reptilian ambassador shook. The Etherian Dominion has control over 37% of all known hyperspace routes. We have technology that is hundreds of years ahead of most council species. We have defensive agreements with 6 other big civilizations. Our approval or disapproval can make or break whole economies. The Queen thought about it for a while. And based on what I've seen, I'm not sure I want to stay in touch with the current galactic order. Panic spread through the room. All of the aliens started talking at once and their voices got louder in fear. The effects were huge. If the Etherian Dominion left the Galactic Council, it would cause an economic and political collapse that could take decades to fix. Please, the jellyfish creature pulsed in a desperate voice, you can't judge all of us based on one station and one incident. One thing. Queen Lysara's laugh was bitter. Didn't you hear me? 12 years. There are 37 places. This wasn't just one thing. It was a problem with the system. It was a part of the culture. It was what you all became when you thought no one important was watching. She looked back at Tyler. But there is hope. Because humanity, the species you all make fun of for being primitive and emotional, showed something important. A person chose to be kind when it mattered, when no one was watching, when there was nothing to gain and everything to lose. Tyler wanted to say something, anything, but his throat was too tight. Queen Lysara said in a strong voice, "So here is my judgment. The Etherian Dominion is putting sanctions on many species and institutions right away. Because of the crimes against me by officials in the Vexthurian Collective, they will lose access to 3 important trade routes. The administration of Veridax Station will be looked into, and some officials will be charged with crimes." The Vexthurian ambassador made a sound like they were choking. Other aliens looked just as shocked. But, the Queen went on, the Etherian Dominion is also making a new alliance. With people. The room went crazy. Aliens yelled over each other and their voices mixed into a mess. Ambassador Morrison was shocked. Tyler felt like the ground had fallen out from under him. Queen Lysara raised her hand and everyone stopped talking right away. We will give Earth access to advanced technology. We will build colonies together. We will back the idea of humans taking on more responsibilities in council matters. And most importantly, we will support the formation of an Ethical Standards Commission, which will be run mostly by people. Someone yelled, "This is crazy." The Queen said calmly, "This is justice." People who work for Tyler Grant know something you don't. Tyranny is having power without caring for others. Being smart without caring is cruel. You built a civilization on cold logic and now you're cold. She looked at Tyler one last time. This human boy changed everything when he chose to help someone who needed it. The next question is if the rest of you can change as well. For exactly 3 seconds after Queen Lysara's announcement, the council chamber was silent. Then everything went wrong. This is completely unacceptable. The reptilian ambassador jumped up, and his scales turned dark red with anger. You can't raise a whole species based on what one person does. Can't I? Queen Lysara's voice cut through the noise like a knife. I am the supreme monarch of the Etherian Dominion. I can do whatever I want. Tyler stood still, watching the most powerful beings in the galaxy fight over his kind as if he weren't even there. He wanted to say something, but what could he add to this? Ambassador Morrison pushed his way through the crowd to get to him. Are you okay, Tyler? I don't know, he said. This is crazy. I just did something nice for someone. That's all I did. Sometimes that's enough, she said in a low voice. Sometimes that's all there is. A tall, clear being that Tyler didn't know stepped forward. The sound of its voice was like wind chimes. Your Majesty, with all due respect, humanity has only been on the galactic stage for less than 50 years. They are having problems with 3 other species over their borders. They have more crime than most places. Their technology is still getting better. How can you explain giving them control over moral standards? The smile on Queen Lysara's face was cold. You want me to explain it? Okay. Let me show you something. The holographic display changed again, this time into dozens of smaller screens. Each one showed a different interaction. At first, Tyler was confused, but then he became more and more amazed. One screen showed an old woman on Earth giving her last bit of money to a homeless person. Another showed rescue workers pulling people out of a building that had fallen down on a colony world. A third showed doctors working for free in a refugee camp. Hundreds of screens, all of them showing people helping other people. Queen Lysara said, while I was doing my test here on Veridax Station, my staff was doing the same thing with other species. We wanted to know if Tyler Grant was an exception or a typical example of human nature. She pointed to the screens. These are just examples. We have hundreds of hours of video. And guess what we found? People help. All the time. Sometimes in a dumb way. Sometimes at a great cost to themselves. But they do help. There were more screens that showed other species in the same kinds of situations. The difference was very clear. Tyler saw aliens walk by people who were in trouble, step over people who were hurt, and ignore their cries for help. Most people, but not all of them. The Queen went on, we put 15 different species through the same tests. The results were the same. People helped strangers 73% of the time. What is the next closest species? 31%. Most of them were less than 15%. The chimes of the crystalline being became out of tune. Statistics can be changed. These cannot. The method was strict. The sizes of the samples were big. There is no way to avoid the conclusion. Queen Lysara spoke with authority. Even with all its flaws, humanity has kept something that most of you have lost. They still care about people they don't know. They still care more about kindness than ease. Tyler's face felt like it was on fire. He wasn't used to getting compliments, especially not like this. But not everyone was sure. The Vexthurian ambassador, who had been quiet since his crimes were made public, suddenly spoke up. Your Majesty, you talk about how humans care for each other. But what about violence between people? For thousands of years, they've been fighting wars on their own planet. They are aggressive, territorial, and hard to predict. How is that civilized? That's a great question, Queen Lysara said, turning to look him in the eye. Let me respond with a question. When was the last time your kind went to war? The Vexthurian collective has been at peace for 800 years. Really? Because my intelligence files show that during that time, you were involved in 17 proxy wars, 6 economic wars, and many secret operations. You just don't call them wars. The Queen's face became hard. At least people are honest about their problems. They don't use fake companies or puppet governments to hide. The ambassador's jaws clicked angrily, but he didn't say anything. Tyler saw that each council member had to face uncomfortable truths one by one. Queen Lysara had proof for everything. Years of watching, recording, and collecting data. She had been getting ready for this for a long time. The sanctions start right away, the Queen said. The Vexthurian collective will not be able to use trade routes for 5 years. This is the arrest of Station Administrator Kelvin and 7 other officials. Medical Chief Sarvin will be charged with refusing to treat a sovereign. And there will be more consequences. These Etherian security forces came into the room. The station officials she had named tried to fight back, but it was no use. In a matter of minutes, they were led away in handcuffs. Queen Lysara went on, as for the alliance with humanity, we will start sharing technology next month. There will be joint colonies in the Outer Rim. The Ethical Standards Commission will also be able to look into how vulnerable groups are treated in all council areas. Are you really giving people the power to look into us? Someone said. Yes. Because it's clear that you can't be trusted to keep an eye on yourselves. There was no room for debate in the Queen's voice. The Commission will have full access to, full control over, and full protection of the Etherian Dominion. Anyone who gets in the way will have to deal with me directly. It seemed like Ambassador Morrison was trying not to cry. Earth had been trying to get respect from the rest of the galaxy for decades, and now they had more power than they could have ever imagined. But Tyler was sick. This wasn't what he wanted. He had only tried to help someone. Your Majesty, he said, surprised by how strong his voice was. Can I say something? Everyone in the room turned to look at him. Tyler swallowed hard but kept going. I really do appreciate what you're doing. But I didn't help you because I wanted something in return. I didn't help you to show that people are better than anyone else. I helped you because you asked for it. That's all. Queen Lysara looked at him very closely. Go ahead. What I'm trying to say is that maybe the problem isn't that one species is better than the other. Perhaps the issue is that we've made it strange or dumb to help others. Where being kind is seen as weak. Tyler looked at all the strong aliens around him. You all want to be strong, smart, and successful so much that you forgot the most important thing. We should look out for each other. A few council members moved around uncomfortably. Some people looked mad. But Tyler saw that some of them looked like they were thinking. Tyler went on, when I was a kid on Earth, my mom used to say that the measure of a civilization isn't how it treats its strongest members. It's how it treats the weakest. And by that standard, he pointed around the room. Most of you are not doing well. The lizard ambassador hissed. How dare you tell us what to do? Your kind can barely get into space. Maybe that's why you should listen, Tyler said, finding courage he didn't know he had. We haven't been out here long enough to forget what's important. You've been traveling the stars for thousands of years and somewhere along the way, you forgot how to treat each other well. Queen Lysara was smiling now and her face showed real warmth. Good job, Tyler Grant. This is why I think people have great potential. You still have the guts to tell the truth to power. But Tyler wasn't finished. Your Majesty, I don't want people to be like them either, with all due respect. Just because we're not as bad right now doesn't mean we should be in charge of ethics. What I want is for everyone to remember that it's not hard to be nice. Just do it. Idealistic, the crystal being said. But not practical. The galaxy works based on practical things. Does it? Tyler asked. From where I'm standing, your practical concerns led to a galaxy where thousands of people walked by a dying woman and did nothing. Maybe the problem is that practical is what it is. There was silence again. This time it felt different. More weighty. Finally, an older alien that Tyler didn't know spoke up. Her fur was gray and her eyes were wise. The boy has a point. When did we get so cold? I remember when my kind cared about helping each other and being part of a community. Now we care about strategic advantages and profit margins. Things change, someone said quietly. The old alien said, they shouldn't change that much. Not if we want to be called civilized. More people joined in, turning the angry yelling into a real debate. Tyler saw that something had changed in the room. Some people weren't sure, but others were beginning to wonder. That was something. Queen Lysara let the conversation go on for a few minutes before asking everyone to be quiet. I still stand by my choices. But Tyler Grant has made you all think. You have 6 months to get better. I will be keeping an eye on you. And testing. The threat was clear. She could come back at any time in any way and to any place. And the next time the results could be worse. The Queen said, now I think Tyler Grant needs some rest. He has had a lot of things happen to him in the last few days. She looked at Tyler with a look of affection. Thanks for being honest. Both in the market and here today. Tyler said, I just told the truth. That's right. That's not as common as you might think. As Etherian guards led Tyler out of the room, he heard the argument start up again behind him. In the hallway, Ambassador Morrison caught up with him. Tyler, you just changed the course of history for all of us. You do know that, right? I just wanted to help someone, he said for what felt like the 100th time. I know. That's what makes it important. Tyler turned around and looked at the doors to the chamber. Even through the thick walls he could still hear people yelling. Some were angry, some were thoughtful, but all had to face uncomfortable truths. It's possible that Queen Lysara was right. Maybe one person choosing to be nice could really change everything. Tyler, on the other hand, thought the hard part was just starting. 3 weeks went by after Queen Lysara made her announcement. 3 weeks that changed Tyler's life in every way. He had been moved from the dangerous waste reclamation level to a nice apartment on level 7. His work also changed. Now he was the link between the station's administration and the workers, helping to put the new ethical rules into action. It was strange that people suddenly listened to him when he talked after he had been at the bottom of the station hierarchy. But not everyone liked the changes. Tyler was on his way to a meeting when he noticed people staring at him as he walked through the market district. Some people nodded in agreement. Some people looked at him with pure hate. People in the galaxy were divided into 2 groups. Those who agreed with Queen Lysara's assessment and those who thought it was an overreaction. Hey human, someone yelled. Tyler turned around and saw a young alien, not much older than a child, from a race he didn't know. Thanks. What you did was important. My parents are talking about how they can be better. Talking about it a lot. Tyler smiled. That's great to hear. That's not what everyone thinks, said another voice. Tyler turned to see a group of older aliens with blank looks on their faces. Some of us think you people are getting too big for your britches. Tyler said carefully, I'm not trying to be big. I'm just trying to be of help. Of course you are. The alien spit on Tyler's feet and then walked away. A few minutes later, Nathan found Tyler looking worried. We need to talk. In a private place. They ended up in one of the maintenance corridors of the station. The same place Nathan had told Tyler about the missing medical records weeks before. What is wrong? Tyler wanted to know. Something is going on. Something bad. Nathan took out his datapad and showed Tyler a bunch of news stories. More and more people in different fields are feeling anti-human. Protests that were planned. There was some violence. And the strange thing is how well everything seems to fit together. Tyler looked through the reports. Attacks on colonies of people. Propaganda broadcasts said that people had control over Queen Lysara. People believe that there are secret technologies or mind control on Earth. Nathan went on, people are scared. The older species have been in charge for thousands of years. Now all of a sudden humans have real power which they have always looked down on. They're fighting back. What can we do about it? I don't know. But Ambassador Morrison believes that something big is on the way. For the past 2 days she's been in emergency meetings. Tyler's phone buzzed. A message from the ambassador herself. I need you at the diplomatic level right away. Emergency situation. When Tyler got to the diplomatic conference room it was full. There were a dozen other human representatives at the table with Ambassador Morrison. They all looked tired and worried. Morrison said, Tyler, thank God. We have a problem. 2 hours ago, a transport for refugees was attacked in the Outer Rim. There are 300 people on board from 15 different species. The ship is badly damaged and losing power. Tyler's stomach dropped. Who hurt them? Don't know. But there is already evidence coming out that points to human involvement. Messages saying that Earth wants to get rid of non-humans from areas that are up for grabs. That's crazy. We wouldn't. We know that. But half of the galaxy is ready to believe it. Morrison showed a star map that showed where the transport was. 6 hours away are the closest military ships. There are, however, civilian ships that are closer. Ships with people on board. Tyler got it right away. Send them to help, you say? It's a chance. Sending our ships could make things worse if this is a trap and someone is trying to make people look bad. But people will die if we don't send them. And if we don't send them, the other species won't either. They'll say it's not their problem or that it's too dangerous. Another representative said angrily, so we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. Tyler remembered the woman begging in the market. About how scared he had been to help because he knew people would make fun of him. And how he helped anyway because it was the right thing to do. We have to send them, he said. People are dying. That's all that counts. Morrison nodded slowly. I was hoping you'd say that. Because the civilian ships are already on their way. 30 minutes ago, I gave the order. For the next 6 hours, Tyler watched from the diplomatic center as things happened. The closest ship with people on it was a cargo ship called the Prairie Wind. A woman named Jennifer Barnes was in charge of it. She was on her way to a colony with mining equipment when the distress call came in. Your emergency is being handled by the Prairie Wind, her voice crackled over the radio. We're not a rescue ship, but we'll do what we can. Hold on, everyone. More ships with people on them changed course. A ship for people. 3 trucks that carry cargo. Even a small boat for research. They weren't ready for rescue missions, but they came anyway. The operation was a mess. Tyler heard Captain Barnes talk to the damaged transport, trying to match its speed and set up docking connections. The transport was slowly spinning and leaking air from several holes. Barnes said, we can see the damage. It's worse than we thought. 4 parts of the main hull are damaged. We're going to have to try docking more than once. Another human captain, a man named David Chin, spoke up. Our ship has the best stabilizers. We'll go in first and try to stop that spin. Tyler watched for the next 3 hours as human crews put their lives on the line to save people they had never met. Ships that were built to carry cargo, not save refugees, pushed their gear to the limit. People who weren't in the military had to do emergency spacewalks to fix holes. Barnes said, we have 30 people on board. Going on to the next part. But then things went wrong. The transport's reactor began to fail, causing radiation to flood certain areas. One of the human ships got stuck in debris while trying to dock and its hull was damaged. We're venting atmosphere, the pilot said, his voice shaking with fear. We need to back off. Negative, Captain Barnes said. Everyone in that section will die if you pull back now. Can you stay in this position for 5 more minutes? I think so. Then go ahead and do it. We're also coming to get your people. Tyler's eyes stung with tears as he listened to regular people do amazing things. Robert Hayes, a mechanic, sealed a hole by jamming his own pressure suit into it. Lisa Park, a doctor, set up a makeshift medical bay in a cargo hold and used supplies meant for everyday accidents to treat injuries. The news channels were showing everything. Tyler saw how public opinion changed in real time. The protesters who were against people stopped talking. When you think about how people put their lives on the line for strangers, the conspiracy theories suddenly seemed silly. Even species that had been openly hostile to people began to help. A Vexthurian medical ship changed its course to help. An Etherian cruiser showed up with the right rescue gear. But the humans were the first ones there. People didn't weigh the risks against the rewards. They just helped. All 300 refugees had been saved by the time the military ships got there. 2 ships with people on them were badly damaged. 4 people were hurt, including Captain Barnes herself, who had been exposed to radiation while pulling survivors from the transport's reactor section. Tyler was watching what happened next when Queen Lysara showed up on every screen in the diplomatic center. She was broadcasting from her flagship, and it was hard to tell what she was thinking. "People of the galaxy," she said to start. "Many of you have asked me why I chose to raise humanity. You said it was too soon. You said that I was tricked or manipulated. Some of you have worked hard to make me doubt my judgment." Tyler's heart dropped. Was she changing her mind? But in the last few hours, you've seen something amazing. People acted when people were dying and there was nothing to gain and everything to lose. Not because they thought about the political gains. Not because they thought they would get something good. They did it because people needed help. The Queen's face softened. "I knew the attack was going to happen." Tyler felt like he had been hit. People in the room were just as shocked as she was. Queen Lysara went on, "The plot to make people look bad has been under Etherian watch for 2 weeks. We knew that some older species were going to attack and blame humans for it. We let it go on because you all needed to see what I saw. People don't argue when they think lives are at stake. They don't think twice. They help." The broadcast showed video of the rescue. Captain Barnes refusing to leave people behind even though her ship was damaged. David Chin talking a scared refugee through a problem with an airlock. Robert Hayes gave up his pressure suit to save other people. The Queen said, "This is what humanity offers the galaxy. Not perfect, not better than, but real compassion. The bravery to help even when it could be dangerous. Being ready to put everything on the line for people you don't know. These are not flaws. These are the things that make civilization possible." She stopped for a moment to let her words sink in. The Galactic Council is being changed. Earth is in charge of the Ethical Standards Commission, which is set up. The Etherian Dominion promises to fully support and protect this body. And to those species that work together to hurt people. Her voice got cold. "You will have to deal with the consequences. Very bad ones." The show was over. Everyone in the room started talking, but Tyler could barely hear them. He thought about Captain Barnes and all the people who had put everything on the line. They weren't anything special. They were just regular people who did what they had to do. Ambassador Morrison put a hand on his shoulder. "Tyler, Queen Lysara wants to talk to you. This time in private." Tyler saw the Queen waiting for him in a small room with a view of the station's main docking bay. He could see the damaged human ships being pulled in for repairs through the window. The Queen said, "You look worried. All those people put their lives on the line because of what I did. If someone had died, they put their lives on the line because someone needed help. That's what your kind does." Queen Lysara turned to look at him. "Do you know what you've given the galaxy, Tyler Grant? Not a new piece of technology or a military alliance. You've reminded us of who we should be. What we could be if we wanted to be better. I still don't think I did anything special. That's what makes it unique." She grinned. "You see it as normal and expected to help others. That is no longer true for most species. They've decided that being kind is too expensive for them. You showed them they were wrong." Tyler looked at the ships that had been damaged. "What now?" "Now. The real work starts now. Changing people's minds is harder than changing the law. Some species will fight back. Some people will stick to the old ways. But you've begun something that can't be stopped." The Queen gave Tyler something to hold. It was a small crystal that looked like it had captured starlight. "What is this?" "The sign of Etherian friendship. For more than 1,000 years, it hasn't been given to anyone from outside. In Etherian space, it means that no matter where you go, you will be treated like family. Safe, respected, and heard." Tyler looked at the crystal. "I don't deserve this. You deserve it more than anyone else I've ever met. Because you helped someone you didn't know when no one else would. Because you told the truth to those in power when it would have been easier to stay quiet. Because you are still humble." The look on Queen Lysara's face was warm. "Tyler Grant, the galaxy is changing. And it's changing because of you." Months turned into weeks. The Ethical Standards Commission started its work by looking into how vulnerable groups are treated in council space. Some species fought back. Some people liked the changes. Things started to get better slowly and with a lot of resistance. Tyler tried to get back to his normal life as much as he could. He still worked at the station, but now he did something else. He still walked around the market area. And one day he saw something that made him stop. A young alien, maybe 10 years old, was helping an old person carry groceries. The old one seemed thankful. The young one seemed happy. Another alien nearby was giving water to someone who looked like they were lost. Tyler saw a group further down the road collecting donations for refugees from a recent disaster. Nathan came up next to him and looked where he was looking. Things have changed now. People are making an effort. Not everyone, but a lot of people. "Yeah," Tyler said in a low voice. They are. That night, Tyler sat in his apartment and sent a message to his mom on Earth. He told her everything that had happened, like the Queen, the Council, and the changes that were happening all over the galaxy. I still don't really get why it was so important, he said to the camera. I just helped someone who needed it. That's what you told me. That's how people act. That might be enough. Perhaps that's all there is. He stopped the recording and looked out the window at the stars. Ships full of people were spreading out across the galaxy. They brought with them the simple lesson that you should help someone when they need it. It wasn't hard. It wasn't fancy. It was just being nice. And somehow that made everything different.